Welcome in, Banana Brains. This is the weekly peel. Is that what we're calling people now? The Banana Brains?
Did you plan to say that, or did that just kind of come out?
I would love to say that it just came out, but I planned it, and I was trying to make it seem supernatural. But thanks for exposing me, Peter.
Okay.
Welcome in, Banana Brains. This is the weekly peel. I'm John, and you know what? Why don't you introduce yourself today?
And I'm Peter.
There you go. I almost said, Peter, why don't you introduce yourself? Wow. Peter, this is a great week. We're coming off the very amazing experience of our anniversary episode for Area 51. Have you recovered?
I think I have. We had Murph and I had some tough losses in the polls, but I think we're almost back up to our full strength again.
Yeah, it was. I told you I was going for blood. I needed to finally win one.
Yeah,
I've never won one.
That one hurt, but I agree.
Yeah. Well, my wife, when she was looking at this, she was like, "What is Peter's list?" She literally was like, "What are these?" She was like, "What are these?"
Oh, if I could go back.
Yeah, it's okay. I did notice though, because I could keep an eye on people that voted, and I'm sorry to tell you, Peter, but your college roommate even betrayed you, and he did not vote for you.
Yeah, he texted me about it, and I sent him a screenshot saying that he voted for you, and he said something before that, like no, where I got you, man, and then I sent him the screenshot, and he's like, I don't know what happened. I was like, oh, okay,
right,
sure.
Well, thank you for listening in this week and hanging out with Peter and I. We're shooting the breeze so you don't have to. We haven't said that in a long time, but that's the point of the show.
That's our branding right there.
It's true.
Keep that going.
Shooting the breeze so you don't have to. We wanted to just start off today by reading a review. Sometimes, I think from time to time, it's good to look. And, we appreciate reviews of this show, and we appreciate ratings. It helps us to get noticed, to get seen. And this one came in that I thought was really good.
Yes,
there's only 2 reviews, so we were just very excited, because we have not that. Where'd you go, Peter? Peter's gone. Oh, he's back.
I was kind of hoping you would play it off and not say anything about it, but
I was going to, but then I realized we have video, so I was like, people need to know. I was gonna just keep going, and I'm like, wait. Then I was like, is there an emergency? Oh, all right. Well, this comes in from Rayman the Manly Man. Exceptional, 5 stars. These people make any conversation fun. Make them popular. They deserve recognition. Amazed by John and Peter. They sound like great people. Thanks, Raymond.
Wow.
Amazing.
Thank you, Raymond. And that's just an invitation to all of you listening right now. Drop us a review on Apple Podcasts.
Do it.
Leave us a sub on YouTube, and you know what? We might talk about it.
Yeah, we will. We'll be like, hey, here you go. This is what they said. This is what the people are saying, and we'll even give you credit for it and everything. And listen, it says in there, make them popular. They deserve recognition. We're not out here trying to get popular. We're just out here trying to do a podcast and get a lot of listens. Shooting the breeze. Get a ton of listeners and get noticed on the streets, and get people talking about us. We're not trying to get popular. No, thank you. We appreciate it. It makes us feel like we're really shooting the breeze, so you don't have to. But you know what? We got a very awesome episode this week. Peter, what do we have the return of?
The Cringe Files.
So I have 2 and you have 2. We are growing in number on this wonderful segment.
We're stepping it up for volume 2.
Yes, we are. And we talked previously that I will tell one of my stories first. And I'm reading right now. Okay, so here it goes. That's the first thing that somebody wrote in. Okay, so here it goes. I was in my first year at college with some friends at a volleyball game. At this point in time, we were very intense with what are the odds, doing really dumb or crazy ones throughout the whole year. My friend Ben saw this girl 2 rows in front of us. I can't speak. I just died for a second. 2 rows in front of us, over to the right. She was a girl he asked out like a week before and got rejected.
Oh no.
I know. As soon as I read that, my heart just went out for this man.
Ben.
I know. He looks at our other friend Dylan and says, Dylan, what are the odds you walk up to her and ask why she said no to going on a date with Ben? Long story short, Dylan walks up to this girl, slowly in the stands, red cheeks and all, and says, guess he was a little embarrassed, and said, excuse me, why did you say no to Ben? The girl slowly turns her head, looks at Dylan, then at all of us, and says, I will talk to Ben later. Arguably the worst secondhand embarrassment I have experienced. You may be asking why he would do that, and that what are the odds? And the simple reason is this. He just did not care and thought it would be funny to make us feel awkward. Every single one of us had bright red faces as she looked back at us with a big old stank face.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's a classic example of like you're thinking about it in your head and you're like, oh no, this is gonna be good, and then you go up and you're like, this is tanking fast.
What's interesting about this story? Because at first you're like, oh, poor Ben, but then you're like, well, Ben put him up to it, and then you start realizing Ben wanted this to happen. Ben's a sick freak.
Oh, Ben put
Ben put Dylan up to this.
I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, no, but then
Ben.
it gets embarrassing for everyone. Like they all start getting embarrassed because she's looking at all of them. She's like, I'll talk to him later.
Ugh.
Wow.
And he's like sitting right there too. She
right
can,
there.
Like see everybody.
Yeah, and the fact that she didn't even just look at the guy, like she looked at the friend group. That's how you know it's bad. Like you've just been exposed. I'd hate to be there.
That's not good.
I'm the worst. Like even if I'm not the one going up and doing something cringy or like a dare, I'm uncomfortable being there. I want to be there and not be noticed. So where would you rate it?
Man, I would say like assuming you're like somebody in that friend group or whatever, you're just watching it. I would give that like a 7 out of 10 probably. I feel like we can get cringier still.
Yeah, I think I'd give it a 6. I'd be really embarrassed, but it's like
there's no repercussions.
There's no repercussions. Yeah, I mean, for Ben it is. He's got to have this big old conversation later, but he wanted it. And it says at the end here, they got married. No, I'm just kidding. Peter, what's yours?
So, because John takes all of the stories that come in through our Instagram, I'm contributing some from my own sad life experience here. So, I have a story here. It's in from, 6th grade Peter sent this in. And
from the past. He faxed it over.
When little 6th grade Peter was in 6th grade, he was homeschooled. I'm going to stop talking in the third person. That's weird.
Good call. When Peter told me that he felt.
So I was about to get into like a homeschool co-op. So I was homeschooled like K through 12 my whole life. About to get into this co-op, and one class or club that they had was a Lego robotics club. Oh. And I'd never been in that before, but so they had an interest meeting, and you kind of it was kind of how you like tried out for this club because there's only like a certain amount of spots. So they said, all right, everybody come to this meeting, and bring some Lego creation. And I love Legos, dude, like so much. My whole childhood,
remember.
I was big into Legos. But I was like, man, what the heck do I make? And they said it had to have some kind of function. So I proceeded to make my very own dump truck. And it had like that function.
To scale, right?
Correct, yeah.
Drove it in.
It had...
Sorry,
it's like, yeah, I'm leading this team now. No, but it had that dumping feature. Anyways, I'm like super nervous. I'm very shy, even as like a 6th grader. And so everybody's there, like we're sitting in a circle in these chairs with our moms that are all present as well, because homeschool. And so they finally get around to me. Like my hands are like sweaty. I'm super nervous. And so I go and they're like, all right, Peter, what did you bring? And so I look down at my hands and I go to like lift up the truck to show people, and it just falls out of my hands and shatters on the floor.
All that hard work.
It was
like in slow motion.
And I just like
no.
Yeah, exactly. I was just sitting there, like, I was like, what do I do now? Like, and they were like, it's okay. Like, tell us like what it was and like, what it did. And, it's okay. It was not okay. It was but I still made the team.
Hey, that's all
made
that
it past
matters.
that experience. But man alive, that was one of the most awkward things that's happened to me.
Oh, they were like, tell us what it was, what it did. Well, it was a gas functioning UFO that I created out of like
completely different. How would you rate my cringe, John?
I would rate that. Wait, hold on. I know you went first before, but I want to hear because you're in the story. I want to hear what you would rate it.
So yeah, maybe because I think it was me, but
I think we're onto something here.
I give that an 8. Like for me,
really,
personally.
you think that's more?
It was
cringy?
An 8 to me.
Because I would rate that like a 4, maybe a 5. I would say that's like, that's very embarrassing, and like I would hate to be you, but like if I saw it happen, I'd be like, oh no, poor guy, oh
yeah,
it's okay though. But I'd say it's a 5. I'd say it's a 5.
Yeah, it just depends on how you look at some of these, because it's like, are you just like a bystander, or like is this thing happening to you? Like,
yes.
We need to get that figured out.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that really, really, really like judges a cringy story. Have you ever laid awake at night and thought about it?
Oh, probably. I would say yes.
Then you know what? Then that is very cringy. I'll give it a 5.5.
I'll take it.
All right.
I'll take it.
All right. I got another one here. This one too is anonymous. This is a good one. So that's what it says. One night I was on the phone with a person who I kind of liked. We were falling asleep on the phone together, just talking, and all of a sudden my stomach started hurting. I was trying to be as quiet as possible, but what was uncovering itself was the wretched stomach bug. It began to get loud and painful. I tried to push out what I thought would be a tiny fart. But boy, was I wrong. What came out was a loud, monstrous, wet fart. I quickly hung up the phone, hoping to God they didn't hear, whipped off my sheets, and there it was, proof that God had cursed this relationship, stained all over my bed. That was the last time we talked, coincidentally.
So was he like aware of what was happening? Like,
wait,
to me,
I don't know.
The deciding factor. Like,
could
he hear that? Did he like understand what happened?
It doesn't sound like the guy on the phone knew what was. I don't know. I mean, if it was loud, like, you don't know, because it says that was the last time they ever talked. So that was it. It was either like. Maybe
that was the last time they talked.
That was the last time they talked. As I said, that was the last time we talked, coincidentally. So it's
falling
like
asleep together on the
Yeah,
phone.
like, high school, like,
yeah,
and then just.
Oh yeah, that totally happened to me.
Oh yeah. I'm sure.
Peter. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, Peter. It doesn't count if it was you and me.
Okay. We're making new Cringe Files content as we speak.
Oh, yeah. So it's a mystery whether this person knew or not. Peter, I personally would rate this probably like a 9. I think this is horrible.
Wow.
I think this is like insane. Just the thought of somebody that you have an interest in hearing what is already the most embarrassing thing ever. Yeah. Like, I'm sure. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm sure you've had that. Those moments in your life where something, maybe not anyone was watching, but you have a fart that's you're not too sure about.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like me, but no. Honestly, I would give. I mean, the person, they did say monstrous. I would give this an 8. I would give it an 8.
Man, and just so sad. Yeah, I would give it a 9. It's just, man, my heart goes out to this person.
That's okay.
It's like, nothing else to be said. All right, what do you got, Peter?
So one more. I don't even know if this should make the cut, but maybe in retelling it, it'll sound cringy. So, my senior year of college, like, I feel like I kind of reached a point where I had turned a corner and I just didn't care what people thought anymore. I was engaged and I was doing long distance with my fiance at the time and my now wife. And so me and a couple other friends actually were all doing long distance. And but anyways, so this one friend of mine, he's my roommate Jake from senior year of high school. He loved to do this thing called the name game. Or he called it that. So basically, you would be like walking down the sidewalk, like passing somebody, or just anywhere you are out in public. Somebody's like walking by, or whatever. You just like say a name out loud, like John, Joey, like kind of like to your like discreetly, but still like loud enough so the person can hear.
Yeah.
And the idea is that like you try to guess their actual name. And like if they look up and like look at you kind of weird, then you guessed it, And so I like
that game.
I hate this game. It's super uncomfortable for me. But he loved it. So we were in the dining hall one day and we were in a booth and there was this girl like across from us at like another booth, like maybe like 20 feet away. And he was like, "Oh, let's play the name game." And I was like, "I don't want to play the name game, Jake." But so he started like saying names, and I guess the idea is that you have to guess like first try, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And so he yelled out like, or not yelled out, he was like Sarah, or something like that. And this girl like looks up, and she's like on her phone, like looks up, looks over at us.
Yeah.
And we just lose it. We're like, oh my gosh, like we guessed it all, like high-fiving, whatever.
Yeah.
But like think from this girl's perspective, like she like just hears her name, like looks over, these guys are like dapping each other up, going crazy. And then so I recollect myself and I kind of sit up and I was like, oh, we were just playing this game. And like mid sentence as she's like looking at us like really like kind of weird, giving us a stank face, like her friend arrives that she was about to like eat with. Yeah. And so like I'm trying to explain myself from like across the room, and she just like looks over at her friend and just walks away, and she's like, oh, like starts greeting her friend, and they start having like their breakfast. It was just a very like uncomfortable, and at that moment I was like, wow, maybe I should still care what people think.
Peter, I'm gonna give that a 6 because it started out great.
Fair.
I'm like that's not cringy. No, maybe a 7. Because then the fact that you went like to like fix it and it just didn't work out.
Yeah, she was like, I don't care what you have to say. Like, just went on with her morning. Yeah,
it's like the verbal equivalent of like going for a handshake that somebody doesn't notice or something, and your hand just sticking out. Like,
yeah, exactly. So it was over very quickly though, and it was just kind of funny. So I would honestly give it like a 5, maybe a 6. But
yeah, I'm gonna give one more only because you're a very brave man giving your own out here in the open. I'm gonna give one of mine because I feel like a weenie if I don't.
I hoped to inspire people like you.
Yeah, thank you. I couldn't have done it without you.
And listeners at home.
This came actually over the summer, while my family and Peter, your family, well, you and your wife. I guess that's your family. Yeah. It just sounds
family now.
Yeah. Anyway,
That's right.
Yeah. Our families were on a beach trip together, and it was a fun time. It was a really awesome trip, and I just thought about this the other day, and I completely forgot this even happened, and it's so cringy to me, so embarrassing. We ate food, and it was really good, and I don't even remember what we were eating, but I just remember all the food was good. we ate food. I was so embarrassed, and something happened. And I started like laughing, or I don't know what happened, but I choked. Do you remember this?
Where was this?
This was at the house we were staying at.
Okay.
And I choked, so I like stood up and I was like trying to like I couldn't do anything. Like I was like kind of coughing and like.
Oh, were you laughing?
Oh yeah, I was laughing and I was like.
Oh
coughing.
yeah.
And then like I just kept coughing and I couldn't like stop, and I realized like something's wrong. So I go over to the sink and I just keep coughing, and then all of a sudden I don't know what happened. But it like
it kind of came out of everywhere, didn't it?
Some like crazy, I don't know, gag reflex came out of nowhere and I threw up.
Oh, you threw up?
You didn't know that? I threw up in the sink for no reason at all, and I was just like, you guys are like 5.5 feet away from me, and I'm like, this is so embarrassing. Like I thought I was just choking a little bit, but somehow like I just threw up. I've never had that ever happen to me, and it was insane.
Wow.
And I was so embarrassed, and I didn't even. Maybe because I didn't say like I threw up because I wanted to be like, oh, this is awkward. And I feel so like cringy, and I threw up. But yeah,
I did not know that at all.
Yeah, and yep. For me, that's a 9.
Wow. I love it. I love that so much. This is like my new favorite segment.
Oh yeah,
of,
Peter.
Of all of our segments.
Of all of them. Peter, what would you rate it?
I would rate that. You're so good at telling stories. I love it. That was probably an 8.
Oh,
I would give that an 8.
Man,
so I'm all 8s today.
8. All right. Well, Peter, this has been fun. Do you have anything else to add, or are we gonna let these banana brains go?
Hey, please go ahead and send in your cringy stories so that we have some more to react to. We can share the joy of cringy stories with other people out there all over the world.
Amen.
So please go ahead and send them in.
Listen, we're telling cringy stories, so you don't have to.
You're darn right about that.
All right, we will see you next week. Spirit fingers.
What podcast? That's so weird. I am in your ear.